They put manufacturing on a map because of what they did with the spring industry.
We manufacture and repair parts for all of the world's major aerospace customers.
It's a very modern mold to make cylindric plastic parts.
We do a lot in automotive here, but we also do a lot in industrial and other medical applications.
The history of the company is just steeped with a legacy of performance and meeting the challenges of whatever industry threw at us.
I think we have become more and more global.
It's a very unique company.
It's exciting times, but it's also challenging times.
Their products, part of the world's technological marvels, inside the nation's early automobiles, the world's first nuclear-powered submarine, and onboard multiple missions in space, in the suit worn by the first astronaut to orbit Earth, aboard Apollo 11 when it landed on the moon, and inside the Mars Curiosity rover as it continues to investigate the Red Planet. Chances are, Barnes parts are in the products you use every day. Your fridge, your computer, your watch, if you still wear one, even your automobile.
If we had to put a sticker on everything we had Barnes inside, so to speak, then we would be a household name.
Quite possibly, it's the most successful Connecticut company you've never heard of.
This year we celebrate 161 years in continuous operation.
To be part of value chains and a relevant part of value chains for different and growing industries over that period of time, that's a unique characteristic.
Dr. David Noble is the director of the Worth Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the University of Connecticut.
To quietly stay in a leadership position across multiple generations and multiple almost industrial revolutions, going from the Civil War through the turn of the century and the automobile to World War I, World War II. You know, when you think about it like that, that's pretty remarkable.
This staying power to continue to produce and prosper, redirect and reinvent is what puts Barnes in an elite class of companies.
When you start to combine a multi-generational family involvement, public shares listed, right? The size and scope of the business, you get into a truly unique field.
The company history begins at the height of high fashion, 1857, with the hoop skirt and a young entrepreneur named Wallace Barnes.
He was earning about $1.25 a day working for the A.S. Platt Company. They were in the spring business and they were about to go bankrupt, couldn't pay their employees, so Wallace Barnes was paid in a load of crinoline, which he loaded onto a cart and took it to Albany, where he traded that crinoline for a haberdashery store. He decided he didn't really want to be in the haberdashery business, so he traded that business for a farm in St. Louis. Decided he really didn't want to be a farmer, so he'd come back to Bristol, and there was a blacksmith, so he traded his blacksmith shop for the farm. The money that he got from selling the blacksmith, he used it to purchase back the A.S. Platt Company.
As Tom Barnes tells it, his great-great-grandfather made two clutch moves, creating a non-compete with the former owner to keep him out of the clock industry for 5 years, and protecting a patent on a spring-making process developed by employees.
Some of the employees developed a process for tempering steel, and they had to pay him $1,000 if they were to release the secret of how the tempering was done.
In the early days, Barnes partnered with the more experienced E.L. Dunbar. Once those hoop skirts faded from fashion, the focus was on springs, mostly for clocks.
Bristol really was the center of the clock industry for quite a while in the U.S., so the early years of the company were really geared towards the clock industry. As you look around at all the clocks in this room, many of them have springs that we made.
At the height of the Industrial Revolution, springs were instrumental in so many other big inventions at the time, and the Wallace Barnes Company, now out on its own, made them.
Bicycles, firearms, automobiles, all kinds of products that used springs were a big part of our growth and our history.
Barnes ultimately opened its own steel mill across town to ensure a steady supply of top-notch material for its springs.
The Barnes Group was the foundation in the community of manufacturing.
John Leone has served Bristol for all of his adult life. Police officer, mayor, Chamber of Commerce director. He even helped write the book on Bristol for its bicentennial.
There was 2 places in the United States that were the leaders for spring and metal stamping, and that was Chicago, which is a larger, obviously, metropolitan area, and Bristol, Connecticut.
Both cities had multiple companies that serviced the automotive industry. Barnes was making springs for cars at the turn of the century, because Bristol, along with New Britain and Hartford, produced some of the nation's earliest automobiles. As cars became more popular and automotive production moved west, Barnes joined forces with 3 other companies to expand its territory and increase capacity.
Dunbar, Gibson, Raymond were all companies that were owned by individuals, families, that we were able to bring together, ultimately making Associated Spring.
They basically were the largest employer of people at the time.
John's dad, John Sr., worked as an operator and estimator for 35 years.
Bristol was one of the communities that sent most of its men to war.
And during World War II, 30% of the workforce at Associated Spring was women. The war fueled demands for springs used in all kinds of artillery and engines. 90% of the ones in aircraft engines were made by Associated Spring, earning the company special recognition from the military. With 8 locations fanning out across the Midwest and north into Canada, the company's post-war business focused on the automotive industry well into the 60s.
In the early 60s, Barnes Group was very heavily dependent on the original equipment automotive business.
Wally and his cousin Hap ran the company at the time.
It was good business, we made good money on it, but it was a vulnerability. When you have that much dependency on one industry, a good way to balance that would be to go into a business that was in the overhaul and maintenance and repair business of automobiles. And Bowman Products made nothing for themselves. They were a buyer and seller of all kinds of replacement parts.
A drastic departure from manufacturing.
A company has to change. You can't take your market or your customers for granted.
Embracing this change allowed the company to grow, expanding overseas and diversifying into aerospace, which made sense to Wally, a pilot himself.
We got into aerospace right at the right time.
Central Metal Products, which was owned by the Reynolds family, was the first business that we bought in the aerospace business. And there were 8 or 9 acquisitions after that that brought together our aerospace group.
It got us a toehold in a market that was growing more rapidly than the automotive business at that time.
This is one of the divisions within aerospace. This particular plant is new manufacturing, so we're both developing and manufacturing the next generation of aircraft's jet engine components.
We're a concurrent engineering business, so we work with our customers to support them in developing cost-effective product that's manufacturable.
The new generation of aircraft are ramping up to a rate per month in 4 years, which took the prior generation 35 years to get to the same rate levels. And the entire supply chain is straining under this ramp. I think Barnes is in a great position because we have done so much planning ahead of time.
Nice thing is the quality on this has been pristine. They hit cycle start, they're off and running their next part.
Our core strength is really about machining high strength, high temperature steels. This is our major assembly area of the turbine center frames. Everything culminates into this assembly Once the assembly is complete, we then deliver it direct to the line where they build the engine itself.
Barnes has a similar facility in Singapore, strategically located near the Asian market.
I went over to Singapore to teach them how to assemble the case that I'm assembling now, and it was a very, very good experience. This is the biggest thing that I've ever had to do, and having that responsibility it's a real big deal.
The Westchester facility, it has two businesses in it. We manufacture complicated welded fabrications for large commercial engines.
And what's known as MRO.
Maintenance, repair, overhaul, and it's basically the aftermarket business. And what we're trying to do is the customer brings in a used part that they previously had inside the engine. We take that and repair it to a like-new condition again.
As our aftermarket business grows, we are employing people continually. We grew in 2017 by nearly 15%.
Turnaround time is very, very quick around here. And because you have such a high mix of parts, it makes it very challenging because you need to change over your machines. You may only make 10 of something or 20 of something else, and you have to change over very quickly.
Checking the profile around the outside of the edge there.
Looks good. The timelines are very strict. The customers want things very quickly. So our NPI time, our new product introduction time, is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So it becomes very challenging. So we need to come up with new technological ways to machine the parts or make the parts, inspect the parts in a quicker fashion.
To meet the growing demands of aerospace and expand into new technological territory, the Barnes Group recently shifted focus.
We basically asked ourselves a question: do we have a strategy to win? We wanted to move more towards technology and more towards intellectual property. So with that, we made the largest divestiture in the company's history, which was to sell our Barnes Distribution North American business and our Barnes Distribution European business. We also made two of the largest acquisitions in the company's history, again with a view to diversifying into a broader set of industrial technologies.
From steel to plastics, a big leap.
I would say this was a new direction for us.
Manner, located in Bollingen, Germany, a family-owned company that specializes in building molds for companies that make plastic products.
So we actually produce the tool that produces the plastic part.
For shavers, for insulin pens, for pharmaceutical products. This is a typical insert, a part of a plastic injection mold. It's the negative of a spray cap you use every day for shampoo, for example, for shaving cream. Our founder, Otto Manner, developed the valve gate hot runner system. He was the inventor, and it's making sure that the melted plastic goes at the exact right temperature to the heart of the injection plastic mold.
We want to make sure that the product is designed in a way that makes it easy to produce.
This machine is invested by Barnes 2 years ago from the Barnes Group. Barnes brought us to the next level, so we are a more global company. We are testing our hot runners and molds. We're testing our equipment on an injection molding machine, which is then finally producing the plastic parts which are produced by the customer. The productivity is better, the on-time delivery is better.
Here in the test center, we are very close with the customer.
Manner in Germany, one of 6 Barnes companies in 12 locations that specialize in making products for companies in the plastics industry.
One of the core competencies we have within Barnes Industrial is tool making, where with Manner we produce tools to produce plastic parts. Here at Hangy, we actually produce tools to produce metal parts.
Hangy, located in Switzerland, a country renowned for its timepieces.
In the mid-40s, Heinz Hangy created the company, and he was a tool maker. And so he started to build tools for the watch industry. And in the early 50s, started to produce parts for watches.
Acquired by Barnes in 2006 to bolster its industrial presence.
With Associated Spring, we do fine blanking, we do progressive stamping, but it's on a bit of a larger scale. So you may have parts going from a few inches up to maybe a foot in diameter. To where with Hangy, we're actually producing parts that we punch holes that are less than the diameter of 2 human hairs. We do a lot in automotive here, but we also do a lot in industrial and other medical applications. It's definitely a very strategic business for us.
This machine is brand new. We just had received it at the end of last year. It increases our capacity of doing the hard milling in-house. So before we had this machine, we were forced to go externally to do all the parts.
In addition to the steel and plastics divisions of Barnes industrial plants, there are also facilities worldwide that make nitrogen gas products, heavy-duty springs for hydraulics.
We make gas springs for metal forming is a main product. That's in about 9% of what we do.
At Strömsholmen in Tranås, Sweden, these springs are made for automotive manufacturers and other industrial customers.
All the metal pieces you see made out of a metal sheet in cars, our gas springs are in the production equipment.
So how many shifts are you running right now?
We're running 5 shifts.
We're actually the global leader in the supply of nitrogen gas springs to the tool and die market. We've used that to expand into other markets. Counterbalance for industrial robots, heavy-duty suspension, military applications.
Last year we made over 1 million gas springs.
Production's up in the nitrogen gas spring division by nearly 20% in just a year. In fact, sales for the entire company increased 17% from 2016. This global success, the payoff from Barnes' continual investment in its employees.
You can buy this technology, but it's really the education and the workforce that we have behind the technology that makes us successful. So I'd say that's the one thing that differentiates us from other companies that I've been exposed to in my 35 years of being in the aerospace company. When an employee wants to grow into maybe an engineering field, they invest in their degree, so they pay their college tuition while they're an employee here.
Stephen Fisher has been working at the Westchester plant for 2.5 years. He's already held 3 different positions and now runs the apprentice program. He plans to start college classes this year.
Some sort of engineering degree, whether it be mechanical or manufacturing. I've been doing some other training on the side. They paid for me to get my certified welding inspector certification. And it's all very precise, very intricate, very specialized.
I do different welding joints and to train for my certification test, and then I will shadow the welders and see what kind of parts they're doing.
Yeah, I think you got the hang of it now. They're all looking very uniform, very good. You're doing a good job. I recently traveled to their Lansing, Michigan plant and learned some new techniques in titanium welding.
There's no ceiling here. Like, the company wants you to grow.
Cedric Woolridge started 18 years ago in Westchester and says he was trained every step of the way.
I came in young and got trained up on the machines and taking classes and continuing to move up the ranks.
Including his biggest career move yet, announced on this very day.
And we just want to take this time right now to make it official for you to be the second shift supervisor. So there you go, sir. Appreciate all the hard work.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Jose Morales also knows a thing or two about moving up the ranks in his career at Barnes Aerospace in Windsor.
I started as an apprentice, and after my apprenticeship, I worked in engineering for about 1.5 years, and then was promoted into a supervisory role. They've invested the time and the training in me.
Jose expects to have a long career here at Windsor, just like his dad, Jose Sr., who retired 2 years ago after 37 years as a milling operator.
I see myself as possibly a division manager someday.
Barnes commonly employs multiple generations of family members. Consider Jeff Twombly, who recently retired after 35 years.
Mom worked there for about 37 years. My mother's mother, Bertha Kowski, she worked there over 20-something years. Anna Twombly, my father's mother, worked there about over 30 years. My Uncle Paul Kioski, my mother's brother, worked in maintenance at the building where Tom Barnes used to be. My Aunt Joan worked there in payroll. It's a tremendous part of our family.
And that's what's made the company successful this 160 years that we've been around. We wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for all of them.
And Bristol historians agree. The city would not be here today if it weren't for the Barnes family. Ebenezer Barnes was Bristol's first settler in 1728.
We're 12 generations now. Ebenezer Barnes came over from Farmington and set up an inn right down on King Street here in Bristol.
Back in the day when they were sitting around the table and decided to incorporate it, and they said Bristol is going to be the name of the city, they really should have said it was Barnesville. The whole family has continuously helped the community wherever they could.
They also founded and continue to support many of Bristol's vital services: the fire department, the Boys and Girls Club, and Bristol Hospital, founded in 1921 by Fuller Barnes.
He wanted to make sure that his workforce had a place to come and be taken care of. He was literally president of the hospital for 30 years and the primary fundraiser.
Barwis says Fuller's son, Hap, shared his passion for the hospital, volunteering for years in the emergency room until his death in 2012.
He had a really amazing focus on kids. He actually had puppets, and so he would go in and entertain the kids, help them feel better about where they were.
Hap Barnes also had another passion.
He was a fire buff. He served on the local fire commission. He had a scanner by his bedside that he left on all night, and if he heard an alarm coming in, why, he'd jump out of bed, put on his boots and a jacket, and go off.
I remember a couple of brush fires we were at. He'd get out and help put out a brush fire, in the woods.
Mark Redmond served in the department for 31 years. Now he's the curator of the city's fire museum, which Hap organized.
He had most of this collection in his home: tools, brass, alarm boxes. Being with his business, he traveled all over the world. And here he picked up the helmets from different countries, from Argentina, Brazil, England, Germany, all these countries that he went to. That's part of his legacy, to share his collection with anybody that wants to see it.
Across town, another legacy of the Barnes family, founded by Lena Barnes.
110 years ago, the Boys and Girls Club, the first one, opened up here in Bristol, and Wally Barnes's grandmother was the first director of that organization. Now we have 12 locations around the city. We serve up to 1,000 kids a day. We have probably one of the premier early learning centers in all of New England. Ultimately, Wally and his family helped us to get to where we are right now.
On the outskirts of the city, the Barnes family donated family-owned land to establish an environmental learning center for kids.
Our mission is to inspire people to enjoy and appreciate nature. So we bring about 20,000 school children here to Indian Rock each year.
Wally's son, Tom, also involved in community and statewide organizations. He's one of the founders of the Main Street Community Foundation.
Bristol, Burlington, Plainville, Plymouth, Southington, and Wolcott, we work with donors who want to leave a permanent gift to their local community to make their community a better place.
Tom's sister, Jerry Betts, oversees all of the grant-making programs.
So how many applications did we get this year?
We have 45 applications for the general grant cycle.
It's important for us to give back.
Tom says it's also been important for the Barnes family to play a role in the company. His dad, Wally, was the last family member to serve as CEO. Now he and his son, Eli, sit on the board.
Big shoes to fill between him, my grandfather, and all the generations that have come before us.
I'd like to think that it is beneficial to the company to have that family presence, so the board is the best way for us to do that and stay out of the day-to-day operations of the business.
When I look back at the success of our company, I attribute it always to three things, and all three things center around our employees. Our employees have always been willing to adapt to change. They've always been willing to reinvent themselves, and they've always done so adhering to the Barnes values.
We need to challenge ourselves to create this competitive advantage.
Every day I've been working here, it's been giving me more energy than it takes. It's a great motivation to be working here.
For me, good communication is everything. It leads to a good production and good quality, and that's what we have here.
Yeah, I'm proud to work here. Always a room for new opportunity.
We're making the future for Barnes, really.
It's like a small family.
The commitment to community, along with the investment in employees, and always an eye to the future, the core principles of Barnes' success.